Welcome guys back to another YouTube series I've started called How to Pass in College, and in this episode we'll be looking at blueprints and variables. So first off, what are variables? Essentially, variables are properties that hold a value. So normally it would be numbers, however words can also be added for text, for an object or an actor within the world. These variables can be internally modified in blueprints as well as sometimes externally, so designers can modify instances within the level. So what are variable types? So to do this, what we can do is if we go to the top corner, you see the blueprints button. If you press on that and then open level blueprints, you don't actually really need to follow along, as this video is just going to explain the different variables that we have. So to do this, what we can do is if you see this button on the left, press that, variables, and for the purpose of this video I'm just going to call it test. As you can see at this moment of time there's a red box here, and I'll explain all of that, what it means. So to understand all of this, if we go to the right hand side, we'll see variable types. Now if we press on this button, a load of variables will open, and I'm going to explain all of these now. So the first and most commonly used are the Boolean variable, which is the red box, and the purpose of this variable is used for true or false data. For example, if the player goes in front of a door, door will open if ticked yes, to create a trigger. Pretty simple. The next one what we have is the byte. This is, I don't believe it's used much, I've never used it personally, but the byte is a variable which is the dark green, I would say dark green, dark blue box, variable which goes through the numbers of 0 to 255. So typically I would personally use integers as over bytes, as you can go and use much higher numbers compared to the byte. So next we have the integer, which is the cyan colored box. This variable represents numbers without a decimal, such as 0, 177 and like minus 683, for example. If you made a zombie game in waves, you can dictate the amount of zombies per wave increasing gradually. So essentially they're just whole numbers, which will then bring me to the next variable, which is the float, which is the green box. This is similar to the integer float as it uses numbers. However, instead of using pure numbers, floats are used for decimal numbers. For example, 0.25, 100 or 106.0137 and minus 82.974. Floats are great for deep information that integers can't provide. For example, if you wanted to use percentages, for example if you were making a business game. The next one we have is a small one called name, which is the purple box, and the sole purpose is just a text name, and once compiled it will give you a text value. After that, this is the more commonly used one over text, is known as the string variable, which is the magenta box. This variable is a great way to test or debug your level, as it allows a group of alphabetical characters such as the default hello. It's when you select it, it's known as a print string. After that, the next variable is the text variable, which is the pink box, and similar to string and name. However, the text displayed can be aware from its location. So for example, if you were finding the actor's location, you could use the text so it would be on its area, for example in like NPCs. So after that we have the vector, which is the gold box, and it represents numbers consisting of float numbers for 3 elements. So by float numbers, if we go back, we can tell that float uses decimal numbers. So in this case, it can measure in the X, Y or Z axes, or in color such as RGB. After that, we have the rotator variable, which is the purple box. The purpose of this variable is to define the group of numbers which give the rotation in 3D space. And the final variable is the transform variable, which is the orange box, and it represents data which combines 3D position, rotation and scale. So these are the variables within the blueprint itself. However, there is actually one more hidden one, and how shall I do this is if I just open that up. I need an actor or something. Can I just do this? Yeah. So as you can see, now we have like a light blue one. The other variable, which is the one that can be used internally and externally, is the object variable. This will be the most common variable to use as a beginner, similar to booleans, as the purpose for the object variable is in its name. The objects used, such as lights, actors, static meshes, cameras and sound cues, are the primary sources for the rest of the variables to integrate with. So there you go, that's all the variables, and next we'll just start finally making some blueprints and starting the level. Thank you for listening, and bye bye.